Turn on, mofo. Fucking phone. You go away. Stop ringing. Back. Miss. Do not disturb. GTFO. Paul, I'm too short to hang the phone on the wall. Yeah, so if you zoom out of that whole thing, you're going to see that on the left, yeah, the PDF. If you zoom out of that, what you're going to see is that that entire purpose of that circuit is to provide power to the chip, that 3.42 volt power supply. But 3.42 volts is already present, which means there's no point in checking the input of it because you're getting the output of it. So your problem is going to be elsewhere. And I think Paul just gave you a hint as he was leaving as to what it is. Bastard. He wasn't supposed to give a hint. But he gave a hint! So now you have a hint. Alright, so... Oh, recording. Hey everybody, how's it going? So today, we're going to be looking at a machine that Apple said would be $475 to replace the logic board on. Let's see what's going on with this machine and see if that's actually true. We're going to open this thing up. Alright, you all ready? You all ready? Fucking pizza. I really am. Being short sucks. I can't hang that phone on the wall. The plight of being 5'6". Have you checked your emails lately? My email is a clusterfuck because it's constantly spammed to hell and back all the time. So, yeah, I have 137 unread emails, so I usually go through it, and there's interesting stuff, and there's boring stuff, and there's useless stuff, and then there's good stuff, and I try to respond to what I have time to when I have time for it. My email is a fucking mess. Like, I checked my email, I cleared it last night, right now I have 137 unread emails. So... Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Hello.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hello. Hi. I was wondering if you guys could fix the glass on a rear camera on an iPhone XR.
That we don't do, I'm afraid. I would try a place called JM Wireless on 244 Grand Street.
I'm sorry, what was that?
244 Grand Street, JM Wireless. Try them out.
KM Wireless? Perfect. Thank you so much.
Alright, no worries, have a good day. Yeah, if you sent me an email on action cameras, I will take a look. Let's see. Did I actually get your email, though? Or did you wind up in spam? Is your email dog? Yee Technology. Yeah, I was taking a look at the Yee. Yeah, you wound up in spam. Go figure. All these fucking spam emails that don't end up in spam, and somebody actually trying to help me does. God, yeah, Thunderbird's junk filter is effing trash. It never learns. Then again, so is the one from my actual email provider. Anyway, we'll get past that. Thank you very much for your recommendation of the E. I have been looking at the E as an alternative to the Go Shit camera. So let's see what's going on with this MacBook. So as with every other MacBook, we're going to unplug the battery. We are going to plug the charger in, and we're going to see what it's taking. Okay, so we're going to turn on our power supply software. Start. Put it on the screen. Check some things with my multimeter. Pray that the Paul Daniels software works, as it rarely does. We were actually just cursing it before. Well, right before the stream started, we were cursing Paul Daniels' multimeter Paul Daniels' general software. Alright, so it looks like this machine turns on. It does have a green light. We do have fan spin. If we were to check Paul Daniels' multimeter software so that you could see what's on the screen. Let's see if we get that. Alright, so let's see what we get on our PP bus. We get 8.6 volts. Alright, so it should be recognizing a battery. Now, let's see if the battery plugs into the machine and is recognized. Okay, so the battery was a little funkily plugged in the beginning. I'm gonna kind of want to see if I can see that battery connector, which may require removing the board itself. Or the battery. Tomorrow is my birthday. I'm sorry to hear that you're going closer to death, Orioles fan. My birthday is going to be coming up in 2 months as well. So I'm right there with you. Okay, so we do this. We do this. We plug in the microscope camera. Alright, so this is going to be really difficult to actually show you without taking the board out. Yeah, you can't really see in there. I'm trying to see if there's bent pins in the battery connector, but I don't see any.
What about the battery?
Maybe getting trolled by... That's holes. You can't have a bent hole. You can have a bent pin.
Why does one look messed up? Look at the clips in there. Why is one dark?
That's interesting. Why is that one dark? Alright, so let's take a look here. On the battery itself, we have a... One of these is not like the other. The third one from the right. Kitten?
Cat.
I thought this was going to be a cooler, a funnier one. Alright, let's see. None of the pins will look bent there. Now we're going to see how many amps it takes. Yeah, that's charging voltage right there.
It's charging.
So what did she say? What is her problem? This works. Interesting. Why did Apple say this would be $475 to repair?
Yeah, no power without charger.
I mean, it turns
No
on.
battery at all.
Oh, look. 58%.
No, it's on.
It was unplugged, Paul.
Yeah.
The battery wasn't plugged in. Or fully. It was kind of janky. Let me rewind this. I gotta rewind my stream. Was the battery seriously not plugged in on this? Was it plugged in or not plugged in? I'm kind of curious. But I think I'm getting trolled by a customer. It's possible I'm getting trolled by a customer. This customer's in the front of the store. Alright, so let's see. I'm rewinding my video. I'm watching my own video right now. Okay, it was plugged in. It was just plugged in poorly. But it's still kind of plugged in poorly. It doesn't... The connector's kind of messy. There we go. Now it's plugged in all the way. So before it was not plugged in as nicely as it should be. And now the battery is plugged in all the way as it should be. Just take a look here. If you rewind the stream about 5 or 6 minutes, you'll see that it wasn't plugged in as nicely. See, there's a thingy over here. So see that little plastic thingy? That thingy has to be under and through. First it has to go under this thingy, then it has to go through this thingy. So this thingy has to go through this thingy, and then it'll work. When we opened the machine, it was like sitting like this, and that's why the battery wasn't working. Can you bring this customer in so that they could see what Apple wanted to charge $475 for?
She's watching the stream.
Oh.
I set up my laptop. She's watching the stream.
They really told her $475 for this horseshit?
$475.
It wasn't fucking plugged in!
Yes, $475 for a non-plugged in battery.
If I upload this, people are gonna say I made this up.
Yeah.
Ask if she wants to like confirm the story, because like this is gonna be something that people think I'm bullshitting on. To confirm her story. Intro.
So, that's it. Fix it.
Let's see. Microphone. Hello.
Hello.
I'm setting up my
You just
microphone.
have to set up the camera angles.
Oh,
My other mic. Alright.
so there's nothing wrong with it?
No.
Your battery was not plugged in.
But, so I don't understand because before I brought it in.
Test.
so-
Hello. Oh, this is way too loud. Holy shit. Yeah, continue.
I brought it in because it wasn't charging. So it all
Yeah.
got instigated because.
What? Start again.
So I brought in the computer to Apple Store because it wasn't charging properly.
Uh-huh.
So it would take like 12 hours to charge. Normally it would take like 2 to 3 hours to charge fully,
All
but
right.
if I plugged in overnight, it wouldn't charge. In the morning, it would be like 20%. So I brought it in, and they'd ran the test. And when they opened it up, they said one of the pins that connects the charging port to the battery was bent, and they needed to replace the logic board, and that would cost me $475.
All right. So as I just showed this, when we got this in, this is the battery, and it was sitting
Right.
like this.
Really?
Yeah. So it needs to be all the way in there. So let's say, let me just zoom in.
Right.
So watch this little piece in the middle over here. See this? The
Sure.
plastic
Yeah.
piece? When I push, now it's plugged in.
Yeah.
So that's why it's not running off of the battery. Now, you'll see that it's able to charge because without the battery plugged in, it's going to give you... Nice sticker. I like this sticker.
Thanks.
So when the battery... Yeah, watch. So the board itself takes 500. So anything in this little number here over 500
Yeah.
is going to be the battery charging and working. So let's just turn it on.
Okay.
Got a happy little apple on the screen. Gonna cover the name over here.
Okay, perfect. So
And
before,
it's 58% in charging.
it would say X.
Yeah.
Like
it
because
said
it wasn't.
Yeah, it said X
connected.
because your battery wasn't plugged in. Because when they were testing it, they likely didn't plug the battery back in all the way. Tried to jam it in there,
Right.
and then
So why were they telling me about the pin? So the pins were fine apparently.
if it was bent, they bent it. But the thing is, they weren't actually bent because I looked at it in the microscope
Right.
and I could see that they weren't bent.
Interesting. Okay. Well, thank you so
if
much.
it's charging slowly, you may potentially need a new battery because after like 2 to 3 years, they start to go dead. That's 129. But
Right.
yeah, you don't need a new board. Your battery
Yeah.
wasn't plugged into the board.
Okay. Okay. Great. Thank
Many
you.
people are gonna think that we made this up, but
No, you did not make this up.
go. All right, I'm gonna close this up, and
Sure.
you'll be good.
Sure.
Uh,
Here's your microphone.
thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
What the fuck? I should have zoomed in on that connector in the beginning because you saw that it wasn't plugged in properly. Like you could see that it wasn't plugged in properly, but it was zoomed out. And I noticed it, but I didn't zoom in on it. But still, it was zoomed in well enough that you could see that. And also, you may notice I'm looking at the screws. So these screws actually have different colored Loctite on it. It's one of those details. Again, I'm not expecting people that can't even tell what how to plug in a battery to tell. But see how this screw has green Loctite? So the green Loctite screw, I believe, is going to go here, and the brown Loctite goes there, then the green one goes there. This is part of Rossmann Group OCD. Many of you have likely never noticed this before. So check out Rossmann Group OCD. So
The
this...
silver one's fatter too.
See this? You may think that those are the same screw, because they're all virtually the same length, but this one actually has a brown Loctite on it, and that one goes in the middle. And then again, we have this one over here. This has green Loctite. And like, this is the other kind of shit that is pissed. Like, well, what the fuck is this? Either don't put the rubber back on, or put it back on properly, but don't have your rubber on in this, like, U position. This is not the way you put a rubber on. Jesus Christ. Look at this. Look at this. Like, you either go in raw, or go in properly with the rubber. But don't go in, like, this is... Why would you do this? There's no reason to turn this into a U. That's not how you use a rubber. I bet the genius that inspected this computer has several unwanted children. Alright, so we plug in our battery properly. Again, no genius here. I'm going to close this up. That poor little rubber. Machine's going to get itself in so much trouble when it goes off to college. And we got a happy little computer. And that's the thing. Cases like this is not, like, the person that told this person it was going to cost $475, they're not pocketing the $475. They don't have some sort of sales quota or incentive plan where they need to milk every single customer for as much money as possible. They're not going to get $475 in their own pocket. They're not going to get an additional $5 in their own pocket for misprescribing the repair. It's just... And it's one of these things, you know, I don't have a high level of sympathy when they say, well, there's a high amount of traffic, this, that, and the other. It's one, because here's the thing, there's a difference between misdiagnosing something and then not being able to plug something in and then saying that they have to pay for it. Because there's, you know, you could say, well, it could be the screen to the screen cable. If it's the screen, it's 500. If it's the screen cable, it's 100 to 150, that kind of thing. And, but, you know, you could give people estimates on the spot. But this whole thing where I bring it to them and my battery is not charging as fast as I'd like it, I leave, my battery gives me an X, and the only thing that I did while I was there was unplug and plug in the battery. Maybe Mr. Genius should look and think, this hasn't been opened before by anybody but me. And I unplugged the battery, and now it doesn't want to plug back in. Maybe we should look into that. You know, it's that type of thing that really bothers me. Granted, it's not something that's necessarily only something that Apple does. You've seen on this channel, I've pointed out countless times how there are franchises, you know, that don't seem to care about quality. They just care about opening as many locations as humanly possible and pumping out as many minimum wage or close to minimum wage techs that don't give a shit. And it's an endemic problem, and it's lame. It's, you know, take some pride in your job. It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter whether you're a CEO or a postman or a supervisor at a post office or even the person at the Genius Bar that's just looking at the battery. Just take a little bit of pride in the fact that if you do your job well, you're going to make somebody happy. That person wasted a trip here. They wasted time out of their day. It's a Labor Day weekend. They could be doing something fun right now. Instead, they're in this dump of a store, which is not exactly a nice-looking place to be in because you didn't do your job. Lame. So that's it for today, and as always, I hope you learned something. I'm going to hand this person back their MacBook, and, well, I'm going to scold them for going to the Genius Bar with their problem. They should know where to come with their problems from now on. See you later.